Good. And here we go live. Hey Tubbs. Hey Rhoda. How you doing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome again. Doing a late one, doing a midnight run, or doing what you call the graveyard shift. In the UK now, it's 12 o'clock. Well, not 12 o'clock actually, 10 minutes to 12. Didn't want to say we start at 12 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? 10 minutes to 12, which is UK time, and which is 10 minutes to 7 Jamaica time. Okay. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because the 13th is crucial and important to this guest here, which is tonight, Mr. Kevin Alex Bent of Earth Well Trade. And it is a very important show. You see, every time I do a show, someone said to me once, all my shows are special, all my guests are special. There's a guy named Bruce Forsyth in the UK, and Bruce Forsyth said to all his guests when they come on the show, he said, "You are my favorite." I had Rhoda Moy Crawford earlier tonight, and something I forgot to say to her at the end of the show, and is that I always want people on the show who are rising. And the reason why I want them when they are rising is because I can rise with them. So I'm not so I'm not the type of person that likes to go after great names and people who are up there, big celebrities or whatever like that. I like to go for people who are rising. So as they rise, I rise with them. It's a simple principle. It's about empowering and actually bigging up people. David Chen, respect brethren. Now, without further ado, I want to invite Mr. Kevin Alex Bent. Sir Kevin, how are you doing, boss?
I'm very well. I am Kevin Alex Bent.
Kevin Alex Bent. Did I say it right? Or Alex Bent? What's the right one?
Well, the public know me as Alex, simply Alex. Formerly by name, by decree, not my own, but of my parents.
Yes.
They named me formally Kevin Bent. And for the name that is given unto me, I've taken upon myself by an unknown man, the name Alex.
Well, the funny thing is that in Jamaica, people always give people name. I've got so many names that if someone called me a particular name, I know that they know my family or they know someone.
Right.
But if they use a SYLBOURNE, even my family close to me sometimes say, "Who is this SYLBOURNE? I don't know you as SYLBOURNE. I know you as Seymour."
Right. So the fascinating thing about it, there's a difference between Kevin Alex Bent, and Alex.
Yes. So Kevin, tell me what? Okay, you're from Earthwell Trade, and Earthwell Trade. Before we get into Earthwell Trade, but what is so special? I don't know if it's from your side. I'm getting a feedback. I don't know if you got something on there. If anything, you're not getting a feedback from your side. No?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but nevertheless, still, tell us what is it about the 13th? What is it about the 13th today? And it's not Friday the 13th; it's Sunday the 13th.
Right. So the significance of the 13 is that for I am the 13 gods in one man.
Yes.
My name is the King 13 gods in one man, noble God, angel 13 Alex. The name in itself explains that I am a king, I am a god, I am an angel, I am of the number 13. I was born 1987 onto this earth. Until the millennium of year 2000, that's 13 years. I finished the book that I've written about my life journey in natural form here on earth, and finished on December the 13th, Friday the 13th, 2019 at 1:13, precisely finishing the book. The video and the ceremony of that, it is recorded, and the videos are on YouTube. So persons can just simply go to YouTube and just type in Kevin Alex Bent. Also, the 13 is significant in a lot of sense. On the 13th month, a lot of things has been changing in my life, and for ever since I could conceive time, has been changing significantly. For example, everybody that I've come in contact with have some alignment with the 13. In some cases, in more than one, in many occasions, at 1 o'clock at night, I can see 13 minutes into the future. This phenomenon has been happening quite a bit of time from ever since.
Yeah.
I may tell people about it that I know, and they may find it very strange, very odd. But when I explain to them, and then I could tell you, like tomorrow, Seabird, I'll see you in a blue shirt at this particular time in that place, then the people around me started finding like, this is so much, it's too coincident, isn't it? That he can predict all these things. So instead of telling people my thoughts and try to persuade them, I don't do it anymore. Once I became the age of 33, when I became age of 33, I become more enlightened with self and love self and to preserve self, and in such a way, instead of writing my words with my pen, I type it. So my word will live on long after I am dead and gone. But my bloodline will live on.
It's interesting you mentioned there for the gods within, and you mentioned 13, and I was saying, wow, you got 13, and I only know of one.
Okay.
Now, the interesting thing you mentioned about 13 is like you're talking about like a kingdom, and within a kingdom, a person have different facets, if anything like that.
Right.
Normally people grow up in this world whereby I don't know. I'm getting a feedback. I don't know if it's somebody about something on or something like that. Let me just do something.
Check it.
Let me just.
Yeah. You get it? Better? Right. I think the feedback was from outside interference, but we
Okay, we're good now. We're good now. Yes. So let's talk about this. The gods, in a sense, because you say there are different facets, isn't it?
Right.
And therefore, based on the different facets, it is like a kingdom. Because at the end of the day, I interviewed a lady recently, and she said, "Black woman is queen." Right? And then people call a mate of mine who want me to interview him, or he want to interview me. He call me, "How are you, king?"
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? And then you're talking about God, and when one hear that now, there's a spiritual aspect we are talking about, isn't it, Alex?
Yes, but the case may be, for I am a frequency. We're all frequency.
Yes.
And you need to understand this, that men of cloth, men of society order, they fabricate such knowledge onto people. For you to think that you are just born like that. I am not. I'm here to serve my purpose. I am one man, free will, free-born. With no fealty, I pledge to no alliance nor crown but my own. With no fealty, I pledge to no crown but my own. And I want my legacy and my child and my son, free-born, Sir Master Junior, Alexander Bent, to know that there's one man that born in this time that see other crown and persons of class and commoners alike, and see what is happening within the society, and to know that his father, with natural sound of mind, pledged to self, to build self, and to live a true life in kingship as it rightfully should. So if anybody should know you in Jamaica, or anywhere else for that matter, when I went to Japan and I went to United Kingdom, they will tell you that my mannerisms are not of the commoners, because I could see what is done from inception of a child, in terms of the schooling, to learn the English ways,
yes,
and so on. And then I could learn from my past ancestors of these people that invaded our spaces and to bring about their ideology and their God. So I didn't born with that illness, for I could see within myself that I am a king, and therefore my son there will not just born by himself. I have to have intimacy with his mother for him to come forward. And therefore, in conception, of me being in flesh right now, I had to, I had to compete against 13 million sperm cells to win the race.
Right.
So from day one, I want you to take these words very seriously. From you were born, you've been competing to win. So every human in flesh, you're a winner because it's always a battle from the beginning. There is no good nor bad in my world. It is just one world with a lot of sections within it. How I predicted it, there are different spaces and time. So the spaces and times are breakdown into 13 different time frames of how frequencies are actually operating at any given time. And if you manage to tap into these frequency, you're able to actually penetrate yourself in from a physical space to a frequency space where you can actually move yourself from one space to the next without you have to be there. If you concentrate your energy enough, you can. It takes a lot of self-awareness. So now I don't feel so obligated to people to be attached. So people will find that I live alone, I stay by myself, and I think more and I question things a lot more. And what I did was to use myself as a human lab rat to do these experiments of self and becoming of self by myself.
Okay.
Um,
So therefore, if I sort of break that down, and if you break it down a bit, the book which is coming out
right.
is a facet of the message in the book.
Yes. So the book is distinctly depicted from the year August 20, 1987 to the
Yeah.
year 2013, and the
Yeah.
book stops there.
Mhm.
So the book marks a time period and it depicts my journey from Middle Earth, Weber's district, Mandeville, Manchester, to current, where it stopped. I will not tell you where it stopped. It's going to give away the book in a sense where it stopped. But it started there, and then it tells you of true nature in my own remembrance. And I didn't want the age 33 to pass, and I didn't record this properly. So I waited this long to write this particular book in this particular sequence of time. Because in my thoughts, which are the thoughts of the gods within me, it is that when you become after the age of 33, you start to lose your knowledge. It means you start to fade. You're not recalling things so much. So if anybody should trying to recall things from the past, you should actually do it before you reach age 33 or age 33. The next thing is that conception and perception of time has been altered for a very long time.
Yeah.
It is that we are being taught about the 12-month calendar in its sense with the 13th-month calendar. And it's like a hush-hush situation. Most persons that are in schooling and they follow the rule, the golden rule that they set out for them,
Yeah.
is that they find themselves in an endless chain of just like a hamster on a wheel. They never think outside of what is being taught and what they get the accolades and the titles for. So what I'm saying? The next thing is you need to understand the stars and you need to understand energies. Energies is a very important thing. Now, you can meet somebody, but you could meet them from a past life. How do you know this? I give you something even better than that. Before I got married, I was in England, in Croydon, and I met.
That's around the corner from me. Yeah.
Yes, and I was at IKEA, and IKEA there in Purley. To my left, exiting IKEA, to my left, there was a manhole, a metal manhole. To the left, exiting IKEA. It's not there anymore. I've asked, and it's not there. And I said to my lady at the time that the next time you see me, I won't be here. I'll be going back to Jamaica. And we met this monk from Mongolia. And the monk says to us, if she is your wife from a past life, and you must follow him wherever you go. And that wife, in particular, from England, she had the spirit of a god known as Freya. She did. And up to this day, that god lived within her.
Okay, if we break it down, because at the same time, I hear what you're saying, and you speak of the various different gods. Or how does that translate down? Because I do note that
Be specific. What do
you have the Earthwell Trade Academy, Earthwell Trade Limited, Earthwell Trade Entrepreneurs talk show as well, author, writer. What is the message that you are about, Alex? What is your message to the world?
So my message to the world is that if it's about the book in particular,
yeah,
the message is this. The message is not to the world. The message is to my son.
Yeah.
Because my son is a freeborn. And it means that he didn't born in bondage, nor did he born in sin. For I want to make it very clear that when myself and the gods within me lay with his mother, we didn't born in sin, and we did not do anything in sin to conceive him. So that Christian value that they renounce, that you were born in sin and shape iniquity and all that foolishness, does not bear merits with me. And I will say this. I will say this. Hold on.
Yeah.
One statement. What is the difference between a king and a god? What is the difference between a king and a non-believer? Very strong words, don't you think?
Yes, it is. But you said something a while ago about Satan in sin and conceiving iniquity, and you said that is all rubbish. Is that what you said?
Yes.
But that is subjective, isn't it? Because you're giving
that has nothing. All documents before me.
Yeah. No. I hear what you're saying. Documents before you and your perception, but that's a perception that you are based on your belief. Because that is.
I have no belief more than self.
I know that, but that's the reason why I asked you the question, what is your message? But you say your message is to your son.
My message to my son, and everything I do is for the legacy and the fulfillment of one man decision to live by his own decree and his own law and own governance.
Yeah.
Self-reliance is the highest science.
Yeah.
So how can you be that you're smart? How can you call yourself be smart? How can you call yourself be intelligent, but yet still you elect a bunch of persons in the House of Representatives to guide you and to make decisions on behalf of you?
Well, I hear what you're saying right there, because it shows that no man is an island, isn't it? I'm just throwing that one out. Would you say no man is an island, or you're an island?
Well, I am within myself.
That is within yourself. But you see, we are looking at this big world. I see this big world whereby I interface with you, you interface with me, and therefore, if it was yourself only, you don't need to interface with nobody.
The fact of the matter is, right, if you're going to use the analogy as that, we need God to survive.
I'm sorry?
If we're going to need God to survive, right, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If I could see myself right now, and I need to move this particular cup, nor the screen right in front of me, and I say, God, move it, it will never move. There's man that will do just for me as much as they call the God. So men are God, women are goddesses.
But you know why God wouldn't move it? Because that's not a part of God's will. God is not like a
so
hold on.
I cannot speak on behalf of that, because I have not seen that. I have not experienced that in that context.
Yes.
And these things are being fabricated onto people to think that will happen. I'm very much literal. So I want to move this pencil. Look at this. Watch this right now. God, move it. It will not move.
But that is where you're treating God as if God is a magician, or God is someone that you can tell something to do. No, you gotta hear what I'm saying.
Ask the difference again. What's the difference between a God and a king? What's the difference between a God and a king? What's the difference between a king and an unbeliever? There's none.
My perception of a God is the one who's the creator of the heaven and the earth. And therefore, a king is someone that the people ask, can God? They said they want a God. They want a king. They want a king. And God said, no, I don't want you to have a king because I'm actually your King of Kings and your God. But the people, hold on, but the people say, hold on, but the people say that they want a king. So God said, okay, you can have your king, but there's still ultimately one God. So if I'm to say to God now, go and kill that person, that's not according to God's will to do that or to move a pen, because He gave you the ability already.
But what I'm trying to show you is that
you can move
watch the logic, right?
Yeah.
Logic is a step away from that, from the 12th cycle of the mental space.
Yes.
We're into the realm of the 13th space. The 13th space, everything begins with self and knowledge of thyself. And everything that comes forward is from self.
Yeah.
Everything that we speak of, in a sense that how things are created, how things are perceived, and so on, we use a point of reference. Most persons use the Quran, the Holy Bible, they call it, and all these other documents to make judgment in how they deal with situation currently.
Yes.
What the 13 gods in one man is saying that I, of sound mind, do things accordingly how I see fit.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I will not say to myself that God tell me to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I, the king, did make that decision. I made that decree. I said that. I did that. And I will live by that, what I say. And if there's a God, the case may be, show yourself.
Well, you know what? You said you're a God. You said there are 13 gods within you. And therefore, of those 13 gods within you, you are able to move those gods. But it all depends if you believe in a God. I'm not saying, I'm just looking at it from a different angle.
From the 13 gods in one man, we do not conceal anything.
Yes. I think I lost your image there. Maybe the God has removed you. See if we can try to come back in. I think I lost you there. No, you're not being seen for some reason. I can't see you, and people will not be able to see. If you log out from your side and come back in, yeah, log out from your side and come back in, as nobody can actually see you. I can't see you. I don't know what happened. So if you log out completely and just log yourself back in, ladies and gentlemen, I've got Mr. Alex Bent on the show. Kevin Alex Bent. Kevin, I think you need to totally log out. Yeah. Okay, so I've got Kevin Alex Bent, born in Mandeville Hospital, Manchester, Jamaica, age 33, background, family, relatives, and farmers. Child labor on construction site, sent himself to school, went to Homewood Technical High School and Villa Road Primary, and is of the perception that there are 13 gods within him. And we're gonna have a quick chat about his book. And here he's coming back in. And here we are. I just hope it wasn't the gods that removed you a second ago.
No, the matter is, right? You have to understand that you're operating in a frequency where there's other means and beings that are there, and I mean trying to get their agenda across.
Yes.
So we never speak about their being.
Okay, we don't have much time. So let me know. So you want to talk about the book finished on December the 13th, yes?
Yes.
1:13 p.m. but is
right.
But it's not up to be told about the book yet. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we don't. So what we can tell my son, because when I'm speaking, I always speak to my son. For persons outside that are listening, they're always on the sidelines, right? Everything I do is for my bloodline and the greater good. So many persons will not say this outright. So whenever you see me working like this, whatever you see I'm trying to accumulate, it is for my lineage and for my legacy. Now, the thing is with the book that has been there, it has been finished, and we'll finish the royal crown.
Yes.
And we'll also finish the royal garments as well for the 13 gods in one man. So in 2 weeks' time, 13 days from now, what we'll be having is a royal photo shoot of the cover of the book should look like. And then thereafter, we will be transferring those imagery into the book, and then we'll send off the book to printry.
And who are the target audiences for the book?
So you will have different tier for the book. So for example, the first 13 copies of the book will be for royals only. And that book will go for 13 million per copy. It's a
30
simple,
million, 30 million pounds, dollars?
whatever country that is. So whichever country want to purchase it or decree or order it, it is of that value. Now listen carefully.
Yeah.
13 million per copy for the 13 copies initially been printed.
Yes.
It is that the first 13 copies that were printed, I would personally be putting information in those 13 copies, and it is only going to be sold within 133 days of printing.
Okay.
After that, then the book will go into tier 2. The book will then be sold for 13,000, whichever country that you are in. And if you cannot afford the book, this is not my fault.
Yes.
That's fine. Then it will go into tier 3, where the book will sell for $1,300. Right? So that can be equivalent maybe to $9 or $10 US, $100. Or if it's Jamaican, it'd be 1,300. If it's pound, I think it's about £7 somewhere there. So it depends on which tier of the book that you receive. But I will make the book very much affordable, and the information be very much transparent for all who will need to receive the book.
Okay, so people will be able to get the book, and awesome, and the royals as much of. Well, listen, Kevin, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and just give us a little background there, because I noticed what you said. You're from a Mandeville.
Yes. So I mean, we did touch base on Earthworld Trade Limited. I touched base on Earthworld Limited, and I wanted to touch base on before I touch base on Mandeville. Earthworld Trade Limited was that I want to see that I can accumulate these wealth in now time.
Yes.
Before the Vikings and the British, what they did was to rob and plunder. We all know it by history, right? Now we need to do things differently. And how am I doing this is that by the money that I earn, what I do is reinvest these money into business, into individuals, and then take a percentage of the business. That is the reason why I created Earthworld Trade Limited. Earthworld Trade Academy is that by order in the society, the different institutions that I've been through, for example, been through the College of Insurance, where they give me these papers that meaningless to me but valid to them, and they gave me these licenses and so on. For example, the stock market as well. I went there and did their accreditations, and they gave me the certificate and so on, that to say XY. But I've got these documents to say that I am competent to do business in this area. So the knowledge that I learned from these people, I created Earthworld Trade Academy to share the same knowledge that I've learned and pass it on.
Yes.
As I go along now, I realize that, man, you're cool. We're talking. People want to meet me. People want to know me. So the fact is, I said, hey, you want to tell the world about your business and you want to talk to me, jump onto my talk show. Not only share the information with me, but share the information about you and your business to the wider world and persons that you can help. So the thing is, with all the knowledge that I've gathered over my last 33 years of natural life, I cannot take it with me to the grave. Therefore, it is by right, as a king, you should pass on the information and share amongst the people that wish to learn and to improve themselves and the quality of life.
So therefore, what you're doing is establishing the legacy, letting it be a reality, because as normal, sometimes many people go to their grave without leaving a legacy, and many dreams are even left in the grave. And listen, Kevin Bent, or Alex Bent, the right one. I want to thank you so much for coming on. And ladies and gentlemen, tune in to Alex and tune into the Earthwind. I'm going to say Earthwind. Yeah. Remember to tune into his shows as well. Earthworld Trade Academy, Earthworld Trade Limited, Earthworld Trade Entrepreneur Talk Show. And the 13th is very crucial. And I'm glad to be a part of the whole work that you're doing, sir. and all the best as well with all your success and your endeavors. And peace out. Okay.
Thank you so much. But I want to point out one more thing. I have chosen you. I have chosen you in particularly
Yes,
to,
sir.
to do this particular show here on the 13th. You see, in time to come, everything that I've done meticulously, you see, great people like myself were never been understood by one go.
Mm.
I've chosen you, and the reason why I've chosen you is because of your charisma and the soul that you carry. It is very much pure. And also for your lineage, you're ascending and descending from the country they call Jamaica. So you have roots in the natural lining. And as I go along in my life, my son will come of age and remember that I had a chat with you at this part in the time, and you had heritage from a country now that you take resident in a next kingdom, which is the United Kingdom.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. I do like the concept that you have, though, I must say, when it talks about kingdom, because kingdom principles are something which is very profound. Kingdom principle talks about us like many different personals. I'll use for argument's sake, maybe in a sort of metaphorical way. Richard Branson, you know, Peter Jones, persons like these who have all their different facets. We are normally taught to have a typical 9 to 5, and then we go and we retire and we die, you know,
Right.
instead of actually expanding. And there's a quote.
That is the reason why when I went to Japan, I'm
Yes,
involved with the gods within Japan, within
yes,
the temple of the Sunrise Temple. And the thing is, within Japan, their God is very much different than the one in the Western world. And you see, I want to ask you this question.
yes,
You see, I see the Indians have a God. I see the Caucasian people have a God. I see the Chinese have a God, which is the same or similar and an Asian concept. But I want to say something. When I look amongst the black race, which is the superior race, which is the race in which it is the rightful Jews, in my view, do not know who they are. You see the difference between you, Silbert, and I. The fact is that you have one gene in your blood that makes you everything else than every other human. Black race is the superior race. And I want to share this, that everything in this world comes from darkness. The perception, for example, you were in your mother's womb, is darkness. If you have a seed and you put it in the ground, you cover it, it comes from darkness.
yes,
So a black man, in my view, have the eternal life and eternal will to do many things amongst men that is godlike. For men are gods and women are goddesses.
yes,
Don't be fooled. The information that you're being presented with is to culture you to be a subservient unto the crown in which they place a governor general or a state minister to represent. For I am the king, 13 gods in one man, noble god, angel 13, Alex. And I hereby, on the 13th of December 2020, with 2020 vision in the right soulful mind, pledge no fealty to no king, no crown, but myself. Thank you.
and the wonderful thing is that we got it on the 13th, isn't it?
Exactly.
Even though it's another day in the UK now. Today is the 14th, but we started on the 13th and we transcend into another day, which is powerful.
Exactly. Which is good.
Which is good. Which is good. Very strategic. Very strategic.
Very strategic.
Very strategic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining on this impromptu show. And I want to say one thing about Alex is that he never gives up, and he persuasive. If he had given up, I wouldn't be doing the show tonight. But because he didn't give up, and anybody will know, and say, SYLBOURNE don't do a show late in this night in the morning.
I want to point out something. This is your first show that you did like this, isn't it?
Is it? Yes, it is. It is.
Good. For the 13 gods in one man. I'm the first and only.
Thank you very much, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining, and all the best. And Alex, stay there. Don't go. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.